Previously on the Chris Hansen Conversation.
So would you say that radio wasn't actually a calling for you?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No, I was an accident. And I have Lyndon Yo to thank for that.
Yeah, how did it happen, man? How did it happen? How did you end up in radio?
So I had a life all planned out to be in law. Graduated with this diploma. Not good enough results to go into NUS because it's the standard so high, right?
Okay.
From Polytechnic especially. Couldn't afford to go overseas to get the degree. And father says, it's time for you to go work. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? I don't know what to do. Go into the army and I served with Special Investigation Branch. There was an opportunity with the Military Prosecutor's Office, but I can't reveal too much. I don't know whether it still applies to me, these laws, but there were certain cases that I did and it got to my head. And I wish I had a support system to guide me and say, hey, it's okay. I'm not blaming the SAF. I'm blaming outside. To guide me and say, okay, you can still get through this. I mean, it's not like I can go home and talk about these things, right? What was mental health back then?
Yeah.
You suck it up. So I was lost. I was going in circles. And someone suggested, why don't you try radio? I'm like, okay, try. What is this radio thing? I don't know how to do.
That's so random, don't you think?
Yeah. Very random because I used to MC in school.
Right.
So I needed money.
Okay.
I tried to be MC. And, as a young... What was I? By the time I left, I was like 23, 24.
Right.
Finished army, right?
Should be, yeah.
Don't know how to groom myself, emceeing, which requires a lot of rah-rah, which I'm not very good at. The event organizers will laugh at you and you need to do better, criticize you. Okay lah, you're the Gina, right? You gotta earn, right? You gotta earn your way through, right?
Yeah.
The paycheck, what is the paycheck? You think you can charge 2, 3, 4, 5,000 like some of these big players? You can't. But randomly someone said try radio. So I sent to everywhere, rejected everywhere. And I got lucky with WKRZ, techno radio station, 91.3, yeah? Lyndon Yo, who was, I think, head of sales back then, gave me a call. I love this man. I owe him a lot. He says, okay, Ali, I got your resume. Are you ready for this? That's funny. Like he was like a radio DJ. Are you ready for this? Sir, yeah, what? We don't mind offering you something part-time. Come here and read news. Because I sent a news demo. I'm like, oh, okay. So I sent a news demo. I got in a couple of months. Things start to change. SPH buys more shares. We're going to move over to the building. 1 year later, Jamie Meldrum comes in.
Yep.
You've heard the story from Joe Augustine. Jamie says, Elliott, okay. The late Jamie, rest his soul, says, okay, you're going to go on a morning show from Monday with John and Patrina. What? These two people? I'm just in my own world recording news. No. You go read it live. No more recording. Shit. First word Joe says to me, I'm not going to make it easy for you. I'm like, I'm gay, man.
Boy, Joe.
Oh. I have said some stupid things on air as far as pronunciation is concerned. But that you can choose to let those moments, those moments play into your ego. You feel, I can't do this anymore. You become weak mentally and run away, or you can find a way out. But I got into the all-time low. Jamie Meldrum comes to me and says, kid, some people can read news and some people can't. You can't. You're off air.
Oh, wow.
You're going to go produce for Joe. I think Patrina had left. I think Denise Tan came in for a bit or something like that.
Right.
You're going to go produce for them. Huh? Yeah, find guests, find interviews, calls, line it all up. And then you write the news for them as well. Like, what? You know what I did? I worked on my craft and I begged my way back. And when I got back, I never lost it. And even, it's easy to be angry, but I always had respect with Jamie Meldrum. And even before he passed on, we're very respectful to each other.
Right.
Very kind to each other. I think deep down, he also respected that I fought. You know, how often does that happen? I tell this story to younger people. They're like, it's my right to go on air.
So it's like a badge you earned, huh?
I feel it should.
Yeah. Okay. But then, since it wasn't a calling, when you got into it, then, you got knocked down, you got up, and it became a love.
So and I'm sure you see these videos on like your LinkedIn's or your Instagram stories. This guy, Simon Sinek, who talks about success mindset, right?
Right.
And I like what he says, a lot of people think, go find your passion and work in your passion. Wow, you're so lucky you can be in your passion. My wife even said this to me, you're very lucky you're in a job that you're passionate about. I say, radio is not my passion. She's like, really? I've always thought it's your passion. No, my passion is law. I love the law. I love the law to the point I like law movies, law books, law conversations.
Till now.
I love it. But I know that's not going to be my career. I know for a fact. Radio was something, the passion from radio is actually my payoff. It's actually my reward because I got to deal with the obstacles, get good at it, even to become a business and finance presenter from it, pivoted within it so many times. The passion is in, hey, blood, sweat, and tears. You worked out some of the problems, and here's where you are, and you should be happy with the passion that you built from it. So it's part of my life.
Basically, you took ownership of it.
Yeah. And we should, right? Take ownership of everything. One advice that someone gave me a long time ago is own your shit.
Yeah, I mean, no. When you say own your shit, that's different.
Yeah.
But taking ownership of something that you never thought that you'd be good at is something else.
But you're in that situation. It is your shit.
Of course. Well, yeah.
So you took ownership of it.
Well, okay. But wouldn't it be great, based on what your wife said, and I'm a proponent of that these days, of what your wife said, to really work on something you love so much, rather than doing something that could be lucrative. And yes, of course, the journey would matter more than the destination. And you would lap that all up and like what you have, and enjoy it. And that's rightly so. But for me, I'm a proponent for the other now.
Okay.
Do something you're passionate in, and every single day of your life is not work.
No, it's true.
And instead of taking ownership of it and saying, you know what, I kind of like this, but I kind of like this versus what you're born to love is two different things.
By the end, if at Money FM, when we started it 6 years ago, I was already passionate about it. If not, I wouldn't have succeeded the way I did. If not, I wouldn't have. And I'll tell you a story about trouble that I had in the first year in a while. But right now, deciding to leave, or at least at the time of this recording, when I decided to leave earlier this year, I have become passionate in other things. I've become passionate in wanting to build. I've become passionate in wanting to groom. And I feel you're wasting my time just making me go on air because I have matured and built other pillars within me that I want to give.
Right.
I can take the easy way out and just say, hey, I'm on air. Doors open for me. You got name, quite famous, cool, huh? But I didn't want that. So I'll give you an example. Like you see me wearing this hockey shirt is because I'm kind of involved volunteering for this Asian Hockey Federation Cup, Junior Cup.
Okay.
Now I was nominated and elected to the executive board of the Singapore Hockey Federation in February. I don't know anything about hockey.
Okay.
I'm an independent board member, the guy that's supposed to be unbiased. I took on that because, I was already on my way out. The president says, this could be something like, how often can you be part of a federation, right?
Right.
And I had not put this out anywhere on social media before we have had this recording because I felt I didn't do anything to earn my place.
Okay.
So comes the tournament, I've got some time. I decide, I can help with some of the media operations, the announcement, train some of the volunteers here and there. And I had to give out a Player of the Match award because we needed a lot of presenters, right? So I had to give out the award. And they just put me as media officer. Competition manager had no idea. Like, cool, no worries. And then he finds out, why didn't you tell me you're on the executive board? I say, what does it matter? It does, because that's who you are. And in that moment, there was a sparkle in my eye. I've earned your respect. Now I will say I'm an executive board member because I've earned your respect.
Okay.
At this, I don't want to be complacent, even though I'm older than I was before. I've done more things than I did before. I still like the idea of earning respect, keep, and those sort of things.
Okay, bro, just this consultancy thing you've been doing. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, what exactly are you consulting?
So this is just something to fill the gaps while something better comes along.
Yeah, that's what you said. But what exactly are you doing?
I am doing a couple of things. One being brand building via podcasts. So I've got a client where they have, no, I'm not trying to steal business from you. So they have one of these defense forums coming up.
Right.
So what we're doing in the lead up is to record podcasts, which I will host and produce, to send out to stakeholders to help build that brand, build the understanding of what exactly is happening at these dialogues, these fireside chats that are going to happen. So that's one example of brand building via podcast. The second one, which is the main one, would be a lot of presenting training, media training. So you train a CEO before they go on CNBC, that sort of thing. And then the final pillar is something that I hope I can learn along the way, which is kind of why I'm doing this with the Hockey Federation, because I find myself in my role doing a bit of a comms role as well. So it's that business development aspect.
Right.
So I don't know a lot about it. I know about it in theory. I haven't had the chance to practice that. So this is an opportunity to learn and build those aspects. At the end of the day, where this consultancy will go, I cannot tell you. But I can say that during this time, I can earn some money and I can build some skills.
Interesting, man. You and I should have a chat after the shoot. Right.
Coffee.
Why not, man? I mean, it sounds kind of interesting. You know, I've asked this young person, a few,
Okay.
some time ago, not too long ago, about whether or not they still listen to radio. Joe says he doesn't listen to radio anymore because we all got this phone, this device in our hands. I can kind of agree. And he seems to be quite right when it comes to the young people today. When I asked him, do you listen to radio? No. Okay. Do you know anyone on radio at all? Maybe, I don't know. Do you know, it's going to hate me for this. Do you know Glenn Ong? Who's that? So my point is, do you think, and I will say this.
I'm ready.
I've always said, video didn't kill the radio star. What do you think, Elliott? Do you think it's going the way of the dinosaurs, man?
You know who killed the radio star?
It wasn't MTV.
You know who killed the radio star?
Who?
I'll tell you.
Who?
The radio star. Why do I need to listen? So that's why I'm very comfortable in talk radio.
Right.
I find this is my calling.
Yeah.
Because of a few things that I learned. I'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
Why do I need to listen to the radio? It's just like, why do I need this particular coffee? Or why do I need to buy these things? We are salesmen. I've denied it for years, but the truth is we are salesmen.
Yep.
So why are you selling? So if I don't need you for music, which I can get on Spotify, the whole world tune in to the time that Taylor Swift launched her new album on Spotify. The whole reason why she took off all her albums and re-recorded it because it's a business decision, right? So why do I need to listen to radio for music? Okay, no problem. Nostalgia, convenience. I switch on in the car. Sure. The radio personality. So what about the radio personality? And this isn't a criticism to any radio personality. This is a genuine question and a genuine reason why I left. So what about? So where am I going with this?
Right.
What else can I do? Now, a year into Money FM, in fact, in the first month of Money FM, this guy named Mark Laudy reviewed the station. And he passed his comment. And by the way, I really like Mark. Shout out to you. He says the presenters there are like facilitators reading off a script that producers hand to them with all the prep work. Wow, die. 1 year later, my favorite, best, beloved co-anchor Yasmin Yonkers leaves for CNA. She's always a big sister to me. And I'm in trouble. I'm alone now. So I go in the morning. Show starts at 6, right? I go in the morning, 5 plus. I watch CNBC. Look at how they do things, trying to gain all the knowledge there. Every day, 1 hour, learn. And I came across this guy, Sri Jagaraja. Now, we've had passing conversations, but we don't know each other very well. He's like my idol because he takes this jargon and he game shows the thing. He puts a bit of, swagger to it. He puts a bit of relatable conversations to it. So why would I listen to Sri Jagaraja? Because I'm waiting for him to make that question or that comment, and you find the, the guest slightly put in the spot. So that's what I'm after. I could learn something from there. So it comes back to this question that you asked, right? Or the comment that I made, radio killed the radio star. So you can't just go on back sell, front sell and give a few fun facts. You've got to do more. I don't have the answer to that question. So why would people listen to you? You've got podcasts.
Yep.
I listen to ESPN podcasts every day. How many? And that's another problem, right? And I specifically use the word, the radio star killed the radio star. Star. Chris, what do you think? Name me one person that listens to your podcast right now. Name me one person. Listens to the audio version of your podcast.
I don't
Anyone?
know. I really don't know.
Okay. Can you picture roughly this person in your head? Doesn't matter if you don't want to name names.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
What do you think that person is doing right now if that person right now is listening to your podcast?
It's not live anyway.
Yeah. So what do you think they are doing right now when they're listening to your podcast?
What they're doing right now when they're listening to the podcast. They could be doing anything.
Exactly.
They could be cooking. They could be washing their cars. They could be,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People are multitasking.
Yeah.
So don't get into your own head. Don't go away. I'm that cool radio DJ and here's the next song coming up and listen to my voice because I'm really cool with this fake American accent as well. Nobody cares. They are multitasking.
Yeah.
So if you've got important information for them or you don't.
Right.
I think there's only one form of appointment-based listening that exists. And that is if I take the trouble to listen to the radio because I don't want to read for the news.
Don't you think that maybe perhaps it could be because people upstairs don't want to see things evolve in a certain direction?
And again,
there's no evolution, right?
And again,
back sell, front sell, it's the same thing all the time.
I cannot say that I care to blame the people upstairs. If I wanted to blame, maybe I would blame a lack of recognition for innovation if innovation existed. Maybe I would blame
regulator,
a lack of pressure.
How about the regulator?
What about the regulator?
Do they come up with broad rules where maybe the broadcaster gets a bit worried and then, tap on the brakes on a lot of things to innovate?
Don't talk about gay sex on radio. Do you need to talk about gay sex on radio?
Okay.
But it's me expressing myself. Do you need to? It's a service job. It's a service job.
Right.
So how do you provide good
So what
service?
are you saying? What are you saying, Elliott? You're saying that it's not the regulator.
I'm saying we need to take ownership. Look, there are rules everywhere.
Oh
There's
my
direction.
God. You were saying almost the same thing Joe has said, man.
Take your own ownership.
Do you realize in a different way you're telling me exactly the same thing Joe has mentioned?
Well,
he's saying the same thing.
If I was fortunate enough to be 20 years older, maybe I could have been his partner. Look, Joe's rubbed people the wrong way and he's brought this up. But from his point of view, take 5 seconds, just 5 seconds, right?
Yep.
From his point of view, he's right.
Okay.
Just like from your point of view, you're right. But can you put that aside and just put the emotions aside and listen? What's the issue here? Someone out there will have a better way of packaging it and telling it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But is that being packaged? That's why I believe I don't care about management, not because I don't respect them, but I'm old enough, educated enough to think for myself. Okay, there are rules, there are expectations, there are targets, sales. How do I put it all together? How do I get the best product given the circumstances? So like right now, I'm at this hockey tournament, I'm managing a bunch of announcers.
Right.
They are not even 10% of my level. Am I going to go criticize them? No, because everyone's a volunteer.
Yeah.
So this situation requires a different way of thinking. Hi guys, I don't need you to do the whole lineup because I can't give you prono guides. I don't need you to mention every single statistic because I'm no hockey expert and I don't think people are expecting you to be experts, but I need you to understand one thing. You're here to announce, not commentate, announce. Tell us the teams, tell us the score, thank the umpires. Keep it simple. So it's also, again, coming back to the very basic thing, right, of radio.
Yeah.
Joe has his own, everybody's got their own philosophy. My philosophy is what was taught to me by people like Suzanne Walker and Clarissa Montero. Know your audience.
Right.
So that's why I imagine them when I'm talking to them.
Right.
Okay, I'm talking to this person, he's got to relate to this person, right?
Right.
I'm very smart. I know this really big word, but how would I use a simple word?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because if you don't know your audience, they can't relate to what you're saying anyway.
Yeah. So I'm that kind of person that, yes, it's easy to blame structure, bureaucracy or whatever, but maybe this is just the way I was raised. Maybe I just look at myself first and what I can do.
So to sum it up, you feel that radio is going the way of the dinosaurs then?
If you continue thinking this way, yeah. Look, you can still
have
your radio. Look, I believe, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, that you will always need radio. And we learn radio in school, how it's a medium when it's a time of war.
Okay.
Will things be different? Will it be through the app? I think we'll still need that frequency tower.
Yeah.
If things are really serious.
Yeah, of course, the national radio, I mean, you're going to make announcements in case Singapore is in crisis or whatever. Yeah.
And I went for a course taught by an ex-BBC guy about how you articulate all of these during a potential terrorist attack, that sort of thing. And it made me reappreciate radio again. I'm like, oh, it's nice to be trained in this as well. But anyway, so you're always going to need that. So, but within that, how can you diversify your ability? Can you be putting out podcasts that are meaningful? In fact, should radio become talk radio? Does music matter on radio anymore? You're competing with Spotify.
Yeah.
You're competing with the guys like Joe Rogan who can rack in that kind of money and put themselves on. Don't we all wish we could be that?
Oh man, still a pipe dream, man. But hey, I think I'm the only guy in Asia doing this.
No, and you're going up against radio is going up against guys like yourself.
I don't think they see me per se as a threat, lah.
But it shouldn't be a threat. I don't see you. If tomorrow I'm back on radio,
they wouldn't see me as a threat.
If tomorrow I'm back on radio and they gave me a segment called Life, I wouldn't see you as a threat. Why? I listen to you. What can I learn from you? Okay, he's doing this way. What are the gaps? How can I plug the gaps? It's just like Joe Gasson. You said that I say the same thing as him. I learned from that too. And I respect him. But don't get me wrong. I really respect Joe. I learned from him like, maybe I can position my views this way. And even that, I still need to learn again to position it better.
Right.
It's just you get what I mean?
Yeah.
We live in a world that's all collaboration now, right? There's things that we can learn from one another.
Wow. I'm glad you said that.
You can spend time being threatened.
I'm glad you said that, man. You know, in 2020, when I first started in the podcast arena with my previous show called Kopi with Chris.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
And I hope this one's better. Anyway, it wasn't my show. Anyway, so I was just a host. It was named with my name, but it was just my first name, you know? Yeah, anyway. So when I used to say this to people, I can't remember who, so many. And I've always enjoyed the fact, especially when COVID came in, that it's all about collaboration and not about competition anymore. Simply because, you know, I said this a couple of episodes ago. I'm just going to touch on it again. Two of my guests on one of the episodes. One is the daughter of a Indian food chain.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other guy, when he started his new bar, COVID came. But he pivoted. They both did.
Okay.
You know, so the girl came up with this for the prata business or the Indian food business. Do a DIY thosai.
Okay.
and deliver it to your house with a set of instructions.
Yeah.
So you get something to do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then this guy met her, the bar owner, met her on my show, and they started collaborating. And he came with his booze, and then he turned his bar around to start, bottling booze, and coming up with their own mixes. And then it accompanies the DIY Tose and vice versa. So it's about collaboration, which I'm quite glad to hear you say that, because that's the way to go.
My dream, and I know this conversation is about I love my job, and don't get me wrong, I still love my job, and my job is me and what I represent, what I can give. My dream and hope is to have a podcast session like that with Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. Because not to
PM sir, please come on my show first before going to Elliott's.
We can do it together.
I promise I shall keep my language as clean as I can.
No, but it's not. and you know what? And hats off to him. He's quite a trendy guy. The effort that
he plays blues, right. He plays jazz. I mean, come on.
Maybe that goes a long way. No, but you see why him? Because there's this conversation about culture. That's coming up, right? A lot of countries around the world are also trying to address certain aspects of the culture. And I think we talk about collaboration. You're very glad I brought this up, but I take it back a little bit. And there's this stupid equation that exists in most majority, not everyone, this stupid mathematical equation that exists, and it goes like that. Oh, you are doing this equals, I need to see if I'm better than you, divided by how can I show I'm better than you, / I must compare myself to you, so I will out-talk you to show you that I'm better than you.
Right.
Singaporean. I hate it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, there's always this stupid competition.
You know something, man. I really don't want to take this there, man. But I think it's not. We can say it's Singaporean in broad lah, but if we were to chunk it down,
fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, if where I'm going with this. If I'm taking this any further, then I tell you going to have people knocking on my door. So I'm not going to go that direction.
No, I've deleted your address so they won't get it from me.
But you do know where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
And that makes us a real selfish lot, and that's really sad. Yeah. I cannot understand. The recent kerfuffle over the mural of the Sam Sui woman holding a cigarette in her hand. And URA said that they've spoken to the artist. They want the cigarette removed because there was a complaint. And this person, there's some people also, or rather one person who complained that, she looks like a prostitute.
It's a legal job.
And I really think that sometimes, stat boards and ministries and the government per se should not be so light-eared. You cannot change history. Some sweet women back then did smoke, so that's the truth. Why do we want to hide the truth? It's as good as the Japanese and modern day Japanese government, not the current ones, and not in recent times, but right after the war and the school books. Have you heard about it? They didn't talk about the war.
Study that in history.
Yeah. In history.
Yeah.
And I mean, why do we want to really bend to these people?
No,
this is too pop. It's don't be a populist. You know.
So what did you do? What did you do? What was your first reaction when you heard this news piece that Ronnie Cheng called Singaporeans a bunch of self-entitled Karens? Because I had a damn good laugh.
Because I completely agree with him.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Karens in this town, man. It's really
poor Karens who are actually nice, like nice people named Karen. I know a few.
Whoever came up with this Karen term, I tell you, I mean, all the Karens in the world, and all the Karens in the world must be so pissed about this shit. But there are Karens out there, man. I mean, I'm sorry to use the term Karens, but unfortunately, it's a global phenomenon now. That word being used, the terminology being used. But I'm very saddened here. I read all these rubbish every day. The worst is to read comments on headlines, and comments online, with their headlines and stuff. Yeah. And it really drives you up the freaking wall. Yeah. People can be just so fucking mean. And I hate this. I hate this call out shit. I hate people who virtue signal. To me, they're bullies.
Well, yeah.
they're bullies, and I hate bullies, man. I love what, that old TV show Leverage, they got the new one out, the new version out, Leverage Redemption. I like watching Leverage, you know what? Because I see bullies getting fucked over and I love it.
And you know what's funny? Most of the time, adult bullies were people who were bullied as kids.
Exactly. And what goes around really just keeps going around in circles, man. But but one thing, I think you're going to miss a few things though.
Yeah.
I got so freaking envious when I saw this. You're a Man United fan, right?
Yeah.
All right, brother.
All right.
GGMU, man. Right, there's a chicken freaking crossed the road because there was a guy waiting to make chicken curry.
That's a good dinner.
I hated. I was so envious.
Oh, why? What did I do?
I'm so envious, man, because I saw this. I saw this with Yorkie and G-Nev. I mean, what the fuck? Can we have the picture up again? Okay, here we go. Yeah.
So this Yorkie one, right? When I walk into the room, an ex-colleague of mine, JK from Power 98, tells Dwight York, hey, be careful of this guy. He's a boxer. I'm like, you stupid fool. And then Dwight York looks at his own muscles. He's like, what, 50? Look at
that
him,
guy, man. Look at that guy, man. He's in shape, man. Look at the pecs. Look at the freaking shoulders and the arms, man.
But I love JK. He's a bit of a clown, but I love the guy. But you get to see your heroes and how nice they are. But the one that really, I don't know. I feel there will be more lessons to learn from that interview. It was the one that I did with Gary Neville. I mean, he praised my voice, but
because he's got a fucked up one.
It's the English anyway.
The Mac. Yeah.
But how he commanded the room and how his thoughts were so put together at any question that I threw at him.
Right.
He was so flexible. And
for a footballer, yeah. I mean, okay, I'm not being an asshole when I say that.
It's quite sad that we say that, right? because we live.
I have Hassan Sani coming next weekend. So
he's a nice guy, lah.
No, I know.
Him before.
My dear friend, his coffee shop is just around the corner, man.
Oh, it's booming, man.
Oh, you telling me? I was there just now. It's whoa, dude.
Wow. He's a good man.
No, he is. Yeah.
That's the thing, right? We get pigeonholed, or we get So I've a stereotype. Yeah, thanks. I've encountered that as well in some interviews. Like, you're an ex-radio presenter, so what else can you do? And then I explain.
You get that? I've never heard
my
this
Singaporean
kind of
stuff all coming out. But I just laugh.
No, I've never heard that. I've never heard that coming from anyone.
So it's funny. So I get that from, say, maybe my generation or younger.
Right.
But I've had the experience of, I remember this one time I was at a funeral wake and a question was asked about something. I can't remember what. I didn't have the answer. You know what my uncle said to me? You radio DJ, you're supposed to know everything before you go on air, right?
Really?
No, and this was just general knowledge, I know you sigh, but for me in that moment, I went, wow. That is the expectation of us from your generation.
Well, you're being so kind just thinking that way.
How interesting. Yeah. I mean,
you're being so kind.
Why be negative?
My answer would be, hey man, if I knew everything today, I'd be running the country.
Also, it was a funeral week, so I turned around. Thanks, uncle.
Yeah, right.
Nice to see you too.
I would have just
don't want to see you anymore.
Regardless, man. Let's talk about something more fun. Okay, let's go for something more fun. Yeah. So you're a Man United fan.
Yeah. Oh, back to this. Okay.
Who is your all-time favorite player, man?
Wow. And don't laugh at me. I actually started watching United or deciding to support United. I think it was 95 Wimbledon, David Beckham, 55 yards against Neil Sullivan.
I don't blame you, man.
And I mean, I like this team. They're quite stylish.
Yeah.
And I think we had just lost the title to Blackburn previously. So it was not exactly it was a team in transition. This was the year, all the kids started to play. I'm like,
the class of 95, huh?
Because it's and Sir Alex Ferguson, don't mean for this to sound the wrong way. I always consider Sir Alex Ferguson like my second father because I learned about life through him. Courage, bravery, express yourself. You watch these documentaries, even after he retired, the things that he teaches at Harvard, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
leadership.
It's not like these guys are fantastic. Gary Nevil's not fantastic right back.
Yeah.
He's like a chicken when he runs.
Yeah, but they gave their all.
The mind.
Yeah.
That's why I try to have that mindset. Oh, okay, bureaucracy, rules, regulations, but what can I do in this
within
scenario?
that sphere, within that tight space that you're placed in?
I try.
Yeah. So who? David Beckham.
David Beckham.
Have you ever had a chance to interview him?
No.
Oh man.
So that's.
But that guy's he like comes in and out of Singapore more often than G Nev and Yorkie.
I never got the chance. And when and I'm not gonna lie, before I left on my final show on April 30th, I spent about 3 weeks. Okay, maybe there's a way on the phone or Zoom. Just that one last one. For me.
MBS, the fella always goes there, man.
They stopped replying my email. Then I so this is just the one guy
that you wanna.
Because I know that, and or maybe it's just as well because, and you've seen his documentary as well.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about those because I read his biographies and everything, right? So the how he overcame all of that, the mental strength, is what I'm interested in.
Crazy what he went through.
Exactly,
it's ridiculous, man.
And you're not putting him up on a pedestal, but hey, if a man can do this, maybe you can do half of it. Maybe you can try. So for me, this is
I think Bex deserves everything he has now.
Yeah. This is that one thing that the one interview that I never got a chance to have.
Oh man.
Yeah. Just too bad.
So Erik Ten Hag.
oh, you're really getting into it.
Keep him or lose him?
Keep him.
Why?
I have always felt this way since Fergie left. It's never been the managers. I'm even fine with David Moyes or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's the players.
Yeah. The prima donnas, man, in the locker room.
I'm very Roy Keane about this. And he's got to play with some heart, man. remember when Roy Keane said, old school, what do you call old school? Working hard, turning up for training. It's true. Is that old school?
Fuck, that's good, man, as well. That's a good kiddo, man. Oh, man.
But it's true, eh?
Yeah. I'm with you there. I've always, and I hate the fact that sometimes I see United fans, how stupid some of them can be. Or every time something goes wrong, sack the manager. It gets on my tits, man. And and to me, it's like
deep tits to carry that much.
Thank you. Every time you get rid of a manager, we regress 3 years at least. Yeah. And it's a process. And then you hear this again from everyone. It's a process. Then let whoever that we've hired as a manager work his process.
And the only thing that they did right was bringing in Jim Ratcliffe, putting in together that structure, taking away responsibility from Ten Hag of buying players because he tends to buy what he knows.
Yeah.
Is it his fault?
No.
Yeah, right.
No, everyone does that. Even Mourinho did that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nemanja Matic, right?
Yeah.
So put together So this is. I would love to just ask and answer my own question. I don't know whether you put it in your stack there. Would I ever go back to radio? And my answer would be just for the sake of it. Support. If you go into a company, a place, an entertainment entity or whatever it is, as long as there's okay with rules, okay with expectations, that's all well and good.
Yeah.
I can train my mind, no problem, but support lah.
So give you a support structure.
Everything is everything. Not support in that, hey, I want to do this. I want to toe the line and everything. If you, just because you reject me doesn't mean you don't support me,
Right.
But that line of communication needs to be clear.
Yeah.
That structure needs to be clear. That trust needs to be clear.
Yeah.
And it's very clear, back to Manchester United, half of them don't trust each other.
Yep.
Is it the manager's fault?
No. But you
take a chance.
I'm glad I brought Man United up and this issue about Erik Ten Hag and the team, because if we were to relate it to what you just said, in which you did, you related it, right? To me, it's prevalent everywhere or anywhere or any place or any country that's tightly regulated, like the UK, they're tightly regulated.
Sure.
We are very regulated in this country. There's no secret, right?
You need it, right?
Yeah, but not that we need it. But there is such a term called over-regulated as well.
Fair.
You know? I'm not saying we are. I'm not saying we're not. But I am saying that we are definitely tight.
We're high.
Regulated.
We're high on that, yeah.
And then when you have people who live and work, players included, in countries like that, right? What do you get? Everyone's just going to be looking out for themselves. And that's what you get. You see? Everyone, including the entities, looking out for number one. And when looking out for number one, which is me, and there's no Irene, you start to just, you start to get so selfish that that you don't have team anymore, man.
Okay, so I think that applies everywhere. And I've see it every day here in Singapore. The difference is we have something else to blame. Regulation.
No. I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying that, don't you think that when you're placed, look, man, you take anything, you take an animal, a human being, you put him in a plastic cage and you suck out all the oxygen. That's his environment now. He's going to suffocate and he's going to die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not, what do you blame then? You blame the person that put you into that bloody freaking plastic cage and suck out the oxygen, right?
In that scenario, you would.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be, if you were to compare that, wouldn't it sound like the same thing? You're in an environment that you are in, and these support structures are either not given or taken away, either one or the other. Then you can't do anything. You can't move on. You can't breathe. You can't.
So this is my peeve. And since the main topic is job,
right,
let me use that and bring up something else. When you work in a corporate structure, where do you see HR? First day and last day. Why is there no such thing as a chief retention officer? Oh, what a buzzword. How do you retain? You retain via engagement. How do you engage? Communicate. Not in an email.
No one's going to do that, man.
No, but if you talk about environment, right? And this is back to the environment. So let's use a hypothetical.
No, I agree. I want to have that, but no one's going to do it.
The person leaves a company, right? He's pushed out. He or she is pushed out. He leaves a company, right? For example.
Yeah.
And this person says, well, the air was sucked out. I had to go. So the person has dealt with that. Does the company deal with it? Does the company sit down and go, I think we sucked out the air and kind of forced him to leave or her to leave? So how can we do better from that?
No, they're not going to do that.
No, but if we are talking about culture, we're talking about jobs.
The exit interview.
Please ask the career strategist, Adrian.
Yeah.
Why isn't there more thought into retention? Because the first thing, skills future, $4,000 now. I can go and study. Boss, I want to go and study. You planning to change job? Are you planning to change job? Is it so difficult to ask, okay, how can I get you to stay or how can I fulfill you more? Because your job as a manager, or maybe this is KPI, maybe this is structure. Someone saying, Elliott, you don't know, you've never been in corporate world. Maybe you're all right. But the job of a leader is not about you.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I need to jaga because I leader. Later, someone promoted above me. Your job as a leader, sorry, you've got a tough gig. You need to cultivate.
Yeah.
You're cultivating people.
Yeah.
Your job is the people under you.
Yeah.
And if they do good, you will shine.
Yeah.
Like even in, what I love to use is these insurance setup or financial planner setup. You see good boss, good agency head. Most likely everyone's happy and working and motivated and cultivated. I met this guy recently. His name is Chuan Hai, if I'm pronouncing it right. All his people follow his system. He's an ex-military man, but people follow his system. They are happy. He is not going, how much does he go out to sell? He just makes sure his people figures out how to sell and goes out there and get the job done. That's leadership to me. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna dwell so much on that particular thing. But I would
I'm just using that as an example.
I understand. Yeah. But my point of view is that what is the point of having an exit interview when you're not going to be learning from that interview? as a company, you know?
Because it jeopardizes my position as HR. It means my company was actually bad.
Yeah.
Or my company was flawed.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But, well, what to do? That's the world we live in,
will
man.
Kill you.
I know, but that's the world we live in, man. I mean, I don't get me the wrong way. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just being resigned to the fact that that's how things are like, and I really don't see anything, that will happen to make things change at this time. But anyway, mate, I really appreciate you being on the show. I mean, you really did the mic drop. You left radio, a job you learned to love. Yeah, you did a job you learned to love because it wasn't a calling.
And sometimes it's like that, right? It's you don't necessarily have to have a calling.
Well, yeah.
You don't need to be that.
I've always had one, and it's still calling me anyway. And I wish you the best.
Thank you, man.
I hope you get whatever you.
Do you know I'm a big fan of this show? I'm really, really excited to be here today.
Seriously?
I'm not kidding you, I was psyching myself. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to Chris.
Well, I hope I didn't disappoint.
How long, Elliott, how long do you think before, and I talk to myself, how long do you think before he scores a bad word? Then maybe he scores first, then you score, right? And then we can bond that way as bros, right? And then when is he going to talk about Man United? If he talks about Man U, it'd be awesome. But I didn't expect the photos. Seriously, I
had to do a little bit of research.
I love this show. And
Thank
I
you.
love what you're doing because it's real.
Thank you.
No,
Appreciate that, man.
I'm serious.
Appreciate that, man.
It's real, and I do not believe you need radio.
No,
I don't.
Wow.
I don't.
Really?
You just need a place to express yourself. And you're doing it.
Yeah.
31,000 plus subscribers. Come on, man. That's amazing.
Well, I mean,
I know radio DJs who don't achieve that.
all I can say is I'm having a lot of fun. I meet guys like you, I get all kinds of people coming on the show from all walks of life.
And it's a learning experience as well when you listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's quite fun.
No, for me, I learn a lot, man. Trust you me. And then, I shake in my no boots because I'm always barefoot. It's home. I'm home. This is my home. Singing songs with people like Aaliyah, people like John Klaas. And then recently, you're going to be seeing this soon. You too, with Mel Ferdinand.
Oh, that should be a treat. That should be a treat.
And I've got some more coming. My tribute show to Singapore's music icons. Because I do whatever I can to make sure that people really in Singapore start to recognize who our musos are, who our entertainers are, who our DJs are, even. Really, because I really feel that it's like you said, it's a service.
Yes.
And not anyone can just pick up a microphone or pick up an instrument and entertain you, man. Yeah. So I love entertainers. I love musos. I do whatever I can to make sure that somehow they're noticed.
And by the way, you are an entertainer.
Well,
from the heart, I mean it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, man. I don't know, but for some strange reason, I've never really seen myself that way.
Well, by the way, that's not for you to say. It's for everyone around you to call you an entertainer.
Thank you.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
apparently.
Thanks so very much. And Frank, I miss listening to you on air. I miss listening to you even for the news, man.
Oh gosh.
Because to me, frankly, dude, because to me, it is an important role. All you jocks out there on radio, I'm saying this to all of you too, that people are listening to you regardless. There are those who are even older who are not listening to digital devices. Joe might disagree with me again still. There are those who are in the cabs and the Grab cars and they're out driving the whole day. They can be playing, they can Bluetooth to their phone and all that, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people like me where I still have radio on.
So, I would say to that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's kept me, or that is what kept me going.
Yeah.
To be better is the fact that I'm fully aware people have a choice. Mm-hmm. You could be that choice. Digital device could be that choice.
Yep.
Or some US station could be that choice.
Yep.
Remember, we live in a world where everyone has a choice.
True. And because there are those like me who have that choice, who make that choice, take that decision to tune into some station somewhere, right? Especially our own local ones, it is still an important job because you are talking to your fellow citizens.
Correct. So I have to be better because someone made me a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all these rules, IMDA code, boss say don't do this, sales say don't do this. That's all white noise.
Yeah.
It's not between me and the listener.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will never go on air and say, all you listeners, because that's like, I don't know, you're obviously not thinking about the listener.
Yeah.
Is thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
If you're going out today, if you don't know this, I will share it with you. It's just me and you. But actually everyone's listening, right? But it's the relationship that we learn that fundamental is just me and you.
Just imagine when you're behind a console, your cans on, a mic in front of you.
Yeah.
And you're speaking to that one person.
That's all.
And that one
person. I learned this from Joe Augustine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, Joe got a lot of mentions today. But he didn't mention me when he was on your show. So this is a bit of revenge.
Oh, well. Joe, you're still a very prolific individual, trust me. Anyway, bro, thank you so very much, man. I wish you the very best. I hope I don't know whether that's really going to be what you want again, but every now and then, if you do get back on there, that'd be great.
You never know.
Yeah. If not,
you never know.
If you're going to start another podcast, sit down and have a cup of coffee with me first.
It won't be a conflict to this.
No.
I know what my lane is.
No, brother. It's not about that. We never know how we can collaborate.
Yeah. Yeah,
you never know, man.
Yeah, positive mindset.
That's the only reason why I said that, because you want to start something on like this, we can always sit down and talk. You never know where things might take the both of us. Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate the time, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Really, man. Thank you, bro. Guys, you've been watching the Chris Hansen Conversation. I've had with me Elliott Danker. It's been, wow. What a chat, man. What a chat. He out-talked me today. All right, everybody. Until the next time, stick around, okay? Because you'll be seeing and watching a tribute show pretty soon to music icons in Singapore. We still have one or two more episodes to go for I Love My Job for season... Kai, which one is it again? 4! I didn't forget this time. Until next time, people, stay safe, yeah? Bye-bye.
Condenser, right? Can lah.
No, this is not condenser, bro.
Dynamic.
So
powerful.
Yeah. Amazing.
My experience doesn't have to be disclosed. Oh, but this is sure, right?
Sure, bro.
No wonder sounds so nice.
You're always sure, man. For sure.
Except the hours from 12 midnight to 2 a.m.
Well.